You hadn't seen him in 2 years. Jungkook has been crashing with us for a few weeks. Your brother had said casually over the phone. Your stomach flipped. Not that you cared, of course, that crush long gone. You're 20 now, not 16-old girl who used to doodle Mrs. John in the margins of her school books. At least that's what you told yourself. But the moment you walked into the living room and saw him sitting there, messy black hair, plain white tee, eyes still unreadable, you forgot how to breathe. Hey, you said quietly. He looked up for half a second. Hey, a single nod, no smile, that was it. Your brother grinned from the couch. Wine just got home. You two haven't seen each other in forever. Yeah, Jungkook replied, eyes already back on his phone. She's grown now. You smiled vaguely, but inside something cracked. Dinner was worse. You sat across from him. The silence between you could have filled a canyon. He passed you the bowl of rice without looking. You took it and forced a thank you through clenched teeth. He didn't reply. You tried, so how is work? Busy. One word, no interest. Your brother chuckled, still cold as ever, huh, Jungkook? He didn't deny it. Later that night, you were on the phone with your best friend. He literally acts like I don't exist, you muttered, pacing your room. So he's always been emotionally constipated, she replied. Besides, maybe he doesn't realize you're not a kid anymore. You sighed. No, he knows. He just doesn't care. The next morning you went to his room and placed a coffee cup on nightstand as your mother told you to. He was coming out of the bathroom, towel over his shoulder, damp hair sticking to his forehead, shirtless. You froze. He didn't. He gave you a casual glance. Still up, kiddo. That word. Don't call me that. You snapped at him. He raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. Touchy? You walked away before you could say something you would regret. Days passed. He remained distant, always polite, always reserved, but never warm, never close. As a neighborhood barbecue, he tried laughing a little louder than usual with a guy your age, just to see if Jungkook would notice. He did. He stayed for a moment too long, then looked away, jaw clenched, but not a word. One night you heard them talking in the hallway. You weren't trying to eavesdrop, you just froze when you heard your name. Your brother Theon was teasing light-hearted. Man, I think wine still has that old crush on you. You held your breath. Jungkook's voice was calm even. She's just a kid to me. The words hit like a punch to the chest. You turned and walked away, face burning. That night you cried into your pillow just like you did when you were 16. But this time it wasn't because he didn't like you back. It was because you finally believed he never would. From then on, you stopped crying. You avoided him like he was invisible. If he entered the room, you found a reason to leave. If he looked at you, you stared through him like he was a stranger. And he let you. He never asked why, never stopped you, never pulled you aside. That hurt more than anything else. One night, unable to sleep, you slipped onto the rooftop. The sky was clear, the stars too calm for how heavy your chest felt. You hugged your knees to your chest, trying to breathe past the ache in your throat. You didn't hear him at first. But then footsteps. You didn't look. You felt him standing behind you. His presence is heavy, his silence unbearable. You waited for him to say something, anything, but he didn't. He saw you cry and walked away, and that was the moment you told yourself you hated him. Or maybe, just maybe, you hated the part of you that still wanted him to care. But next morning in your room, everything shifted. You were trying to put on your favorite necklace, delicate gold with a teeny heart shaped charm, a gift from your grandmother. The clasp just wouldn't hook. Your fingers fumbled behind your neck, and then you heard the soft knock. Before you could turn, you felt it. Warm fingers brushing gently against the back of your neck. His hands, calm, practiced, reached up and took the chain from yours. You froze, your breath caught as his fingers carefully clipped the hook into place, not a word spoken. His knuckles grazed your skin for a second longer than necessary. Then he stepped back without saying anything. You turned, but he was already walking away just like that, and your heartbeat wouldn't calm for the next hour. Later that week, you went out for coffee with your friends. You were swapping through your phone when one of them leaned in with a look. Hey, that guy staying with you, Jungkook? You nodded slowly. The other girl lowered her voice, dramatic as ever. I heard he once beat a guy up so bad he was hospitalized. You blinked. What? For real? She said. No charges filed, but everyone at his college knew. Apparently it was over some girl, possessive type. He forced a chuckle. That sounds exaggerated, but the seed was already planted. You didn't realize how quickly it would grow. What you didn't know was Jungkook fought with that guy because he was stalking you and planned to harm you. After that day, something inside you changed. You began pulling back. It started small. He came into the kitchen one morning and said, Morning. You barely looked up. Hey. He paused, clearly noticing, but said nothing. Another time he knocked on your door to ask about your brother's charger. You handed it to him without a word. No eye contact. His brows drew together. You okay? He asked. You nodded, just tired. He started watching you more closely after that, not in a possessive way, just quiet concern. You hated how much you noticed it. He offered to drop you to class one day. You declined, sure? He asked, tilting his head. You just smiled. I like walking. You didn't. But you didn't want to sit beside him, not when your heart still jumps every time he so much as brushes past you. At dinner, your brother cracked a joke about how quiet the house had gotten. You didn't speak. Jungkook glanced your way confused, but you kept your eyes on a plate, and slowly the gap between you grew wider. One evening, you were both home alone. You were sitting on the couch, scrolling through a phone, trying to act normal. Jungkook walked in, holding a carton of ice cream. He raised it slightly. Want some? You shook your head. No thanks. He didn't move. You have been acting differently, he said quietly. You looked at your phone, pretending to read something, just busy. He sighed, clearly frustrated. Did I do something? You didn't answer. He stood there a second longer, then walked away. And for some reason that hurt. But what hurts even more was the fact that you didn't know if you were angry at him or at yourself for letting rumors decide what you believe. You replayed it in your mind that night, the way he clasped your necklace so gently, like he had done it 1,000 times in his head but never dared to do it out loud. You felt like you were standing at the edge of something, but too scared to step forward and too stubborn to admit that maybe you didn't want to push him away, but still you did again and again. The next day at college felt like any other until it wasn't. You were packing your things after class when someone called your name. While a gentle voice said behind you. You turned, it was Son, who'd always been kind to you, quite respectful, the type of guy your friends said was husband material, smart, polite, sensitive. You had always felt safe around him, admired even. For 2 years, he had helped you with assignments, saved you a seat in every lecture, and never once crossed a line. But today his eyes held something different. I wanted to ask you something, he said, shifting nervously. You smiled softly. Sure, what is it? I have liked you for a while, he said, voice trembling slightly, and I know you probably already know that. But would you go out to dinner with me tonight just once? If you hate it, I won't bother you again. Your heart paused. He wasn't just pushy, he wasn't arrogant. He was sweet and sincere, and everyone loved him. And maybe it would help you forget someone else for a while. You hesitated for a moment, then smiled. Okay, one dinner. His face lit up with a smile so warm it almost made you forget the ache in your chest. Almost. That evening back at home, you were in your room choosing a dress that didn't look like you were trying too hard, just simple, soft makeup, low heels. You weren't doing this to impress anyone, that's what you told yourself. Your phone was on your bed, the screen was off, no call, no one on the other end. But still, you brought it to your ear and said loud enough for anyone passing by to hear, yeah, I'm going on a date with Son. You glanced towards the door, opened just slightly. No one, you kept going. He's a really good guy, you know. If tonight goes well, I might actually say yes to him. You didn't say it for your friend, you said it for him, and it worked. Just as you ended the fake call and picked up your lipstick, you heard footsteps pass by door. You didn't even have to look. You knew it was Jungkook. You came downstairs 10 minutes later, purse in hand, dressed in soft lavender. Theon was lounging on the couch. He looked up. You look fancy. Hot date? You smirked. Friend's birthday party. Jungkook was in the kitchen, pretending not to listen. His back was to you, but his shoulders stiffened. You glanced once, briefly, then turned to the door. Don't wait up, and you left. Dinner started out fine. The restaurant was upscale. Candlelight flickered across polished wood tables. Song pulled your chair out like a gentleman. Ordered sparkling water for both of you. You made light conversation, classes, professor food. You tried to laugh, to enjoy it. He reached across the table once, brushing your fingers gently. My grandmother's at her hotel upstairs, he said suddenly. She's been asking about you since I told. You blinked surprised. She knows about me, he chuckled. She's obsessed with me finding someone. I told her about your Valentine. I didn't think you would say yes, so I didn't bring it up earlier. I don't know, so it's kind of. It will take 2 minutes. She just want to meet you, say hi. She's really sweet. Please. You hesitated, something about it felt off, but you didn't want to hurt him, so you nodded slowly. Okay, just a quick hello. He guided you through the lobby to the elevator, hand gently on your lower back. Your stomach turned. As the doors closed, you glanced at him. He wasn't smiling anymore. His expression was unreadable, cold. The elevator stopped on the fifth floor. He held you to the end of a hallway, opened a door, and motioned you in. He stepped inside cautiously. It was a room luxurious, empty. No grandmother, as he said. You turned sharply. Where is? Before you could finish, the door clicked shut behind you. Soam's eyes darkened. She's not here, he said simply. She was never going to be. You froze. Your voice dropped. What are you doing? I have waited 2 years, he said, stepping closer. You don't even see me while you look at him like he hung the stars. Your throat went dry. Don't touch me. His hand raised for your waist. Just one kiss. Just let me. You shoved him back, panic rising in your chest. Let me go. He grabbed you again tighter this time. Don't make me the bad guy, Juan. And then the door slammed open. Get your hands off her. His voice was pure, still, his eyes blazing. In two strides, he had Soon pinned to the wall. You stumbled back, breath caught in your throat as Soon shouted. She said yes, she came with me. Jungkook punched him hard. I saw what you did, he hissed. I was outside the whole time. He turned to you, voice softer now. Are you okay? You nodded shakily, tears slipping before you could stop them. He walked to you, gently cupping your face, scanning for bruises you wanted to collapse right there. He took your hand, guided you out of the room, his grip firm and safe. Neither of you spoke until you were outside the hotel. Why were you there? You whispered finally. He looked at you, jaw clenched. I followed you because something felt wrong. Because the second you said his name on that fake phone call, I knew you were trying to hurt me. He couldn't speak, his voice cracked. I let you think I didn't care. I let you believe I saw you as a kid, but I was trying to stay away because I didn't think I deserved to want you. You stared at him, heartbreaking. And for the first time, you wished he had said all of that sooner. Because now you couldn't stop the guilt rising in your throat. You didn't speak a word during the ride home. The silence inside Jungkook's car felt louder than any argument could have. You stared out the window, your heart pounding with guilt and something far worse, shame. His hand bruised and bloodied rested on his thigh. You wanted to reach for it, but you didn't. When you got home, he parked without saying anything. You stepped out first, afraid your voice would tremble if you tried to thank him. Inside the house, everything was dark. Your brother was still out. Jungkook walked towards the kitchen and opened the freezer for an ice pack. You watched him for a second, too long before finally speaking. Sit, you said softly. He looked at you surprised, but didn't argue. He sat there. You walked over, took the ice pack from his hand, and kneeled in front of him. Carefully, you wrapped the cold compress around his knuckles. He winced slightly. You noticed and slowed your hands. You swallowed the lump in your throat and whispered, I'm so sorry. His eyes flicked up to yours. For what? You pressed the pack a little tighter and kept your eyes down. For everything, for assuming, for trying to make you jealous, for going out with someone when I knew I never wanted anyone else. He didn't reply. I was going to say no too soon. I agreed to the dinner just to distract myself, to stop thinking about you. You paused, and I told myself I would reject him after dessert. I even practiced the words. I swear at Jungkook I was never going to say yes to him. His jaw tightened, he looked away. I said those things near my door because I knew you were there. I wanted to hurt you the way you had hurt me by acting like I never mattered. The silence between you sat heavy. You looked up at him, eyes burning. Say something. He exhaled slowly. I believe you, he finally said. When you said you might say yes to him, I believed you were moving on. You bit your lip. Were you angry? He met your gaze then. No, I was scared. You blinked. Scared, he leaned back in chair, eyes dark, tired. I grew up watching two people stay in a house without ever loving each other. My dad cheated, my mom stayed silent. I thought that's what love turned into disappointment, distant, resentment. You stayed quiet, letting him speak. So I made a decision when I was 17. Never fall in love, never let anyone depend on me like that. He chuckled bitterly, and then you happened. You frowned. What does that mean? You were always everywhere, he said with a small, aching smile. When you were 16, you were loud and stubborn and impossible to ignore. I thought it was cute, but then I blinked and you were 20, beautiful, brave, and looking at me like I was your world. He looked down at his hands, and I panicked. You reached up and gently took the ice pack from his hand. His knuckles were red, tender. You touched them lightly. You pushed me away, you said quietly. I had to. He replied. I didn't know how to love someone without ruining them. I didn't think I deserved to be the guy you waited for. You stared at him, tears brimming. I never want someone perfect. I just wanted you. He looked at you like he didn't believe you, like no one ever had. I thought you hated me, he said, his voice lower now. When you started avoiding me, ignoring me, saying nothing to me, I didn't hate you because I didn't understand you, because I thought you saw me as a child. He closed his eyes. I called you a kid to protect myself. If I made you believe that I didn't care, maybe I wouldn't fall harder. You touched his hand again. It didn't work. You still feel. And so did you, he replied softly. Silence, but not empty this time. You stood slowly. He stood too. I wanted you to choose me, his said voice raw. Not because someone else failed you, but because you saw me, flaws and all. You nodded. I do. He took a step forward. Even after everything, you smiled sadly, especially after everything. He kept your face gently like he was still afraid you might disappear. You ruined every chance I have with other men, you whispered, he smirked. Good. And then he kissed you, not rushed, not desperate, just real. Thank you for watching.